Welcome everyone. Thank you very much for joining me on our pre-match preview. Liverpool versus West Ham against David Moyes' side. The Hammers are absolutely flying this season, and I'm joined by a very special guest, my good mate from ING United, Anton. Thank you for coming on, mate, and hopefully all the West Ham fans are keeping safe and well these times.
Yeah, we are so, mate. Thank you very much for having me on. It's a pleasure to come on your channel. And yes, mate, West Ham fans are absolutely loving it, and it's great fun, to be honest. Just now, yeah, it's the roller coaster ride that West Ham fans have been wanting to go up rather than down. So yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, thank you very much for coming on, mate. Just was only a short one. Everyone, make sure you do head over to ING United's channel anyway. We've got a whole host of Liverpool versus West Ham content coming up this week, and obviously pre-match build-up show on my channel as well. Hit that subscribe button down below. Drop a like on the video if you do like today's content anyway. But Reds and West Ham fans anyway, Irons fans, make sure you do get your team selections in the comment section below, and obviously your thoughts on the upcoming encounter. It's going to be a very good game. To say I'm looking forward to it is very underestimation, because we've played David Moyes so many times over the years, and yes, Liverpool have got a decent record over West Ham over recent times.
Oh, absolutely.
It's the Premier League, mate, and like we've seen against Sheffield United, beating obviously Man United anyway. But mate, what are your thoughts going into this game? Obviously West Ham flying, as we've already spoke about at the top of the show. How do you envision this game going?
I don't really. West Ham fans are all over the place. We're going through such a transition right now that we've been needing to go through for such a long time. And Moyes, fair play to him, mate. He's doing the transition, and he's giving West Ham fans fight, belief, something to believe in at the club. Now, this year, sometimes we're playing good football, sometimes we're not playing good football. Sometimes it's not attractive, sometimes it's attractive. Either way, though, we're grinding out results left, right, and centre. We're going into each game not 100% sure, is this going to be the game that knocks our confidence? And I've been doing that for 19 games, Jack, and I think many West Ham fans have been doing that for 19 games. But we find ourselves now in the top five. 4 or 5 points from the top position,
yeah.
and we're not conceding goals, and we're scoring goals, and we've got options. So I don't know what to say, because I'm scared to say I'm confident, but I'm also wary. It's interesting, and of course I'd be silly to say, or even remotely say, that I'm very aware of the fact that Liverpool are having injury problems. So adding all that into the equation makes me think it's going to be an interesting game of football.
Yeah, absolutely spot on there, mate. Just looking at the Premier League table there, mate, obviously you're behind us. 2 points behind Liverpool, which is absolutely mad. It's just, but as you said, 19 games, 20 games into the Premier League season, mate. Do you reckon if you continue this upward trajectory, really, you could see possibly West Ham potentially getting into Europe if you continue the current run of form you're on?
We have to really seriously think, what do we want to do? So each season we look for solidifying our Premiership position. This year we're there, we're safe. And I know that sounds crazy, but we're safe at the halfway point. You know, it took us 38 games to get with the points we've got last season. We've only done it in 19 games. So if we kept on that trajectory, that puts us in probably a very good position. That needs to ensure and make sure West Ham continue with that trajectory. So the signings that we're bringing in, Europe has got to be the new target. Whether or not the club have taken that as the target, we're not so sure. Either way, could we say this season has been a success? Yes. But West Ham fans and David Moyes doesn't want to see that standard drop. And what we're seeing in each game is fight to the end. And yeah, that's what kind of, hopefully European position is a dream.
Yeah, what's one of the biggest aspects that's impressed you from obviously David Moyes keeping you in the Premier League, which was the big target last season? What's really impressed you with how Moyes has developed, especially this season? West Ham's game, obviously, he's very renowned when he was at Everton for a very defensive, pragmatic solid defensive unit
Yeah.
as his teams. But what have you watched West Ham this season and the back end of last season? Really, that's the aspect of game. Is the defensive or the attacking combination of your midfield and all that?
The biggest issue we had, even if you think back to West Ham's last season at Upton Park, we finished. We were one game away from qualifying for the Champions League, but when you look back at that, we still conceded nearly upwards of the high 50s of goals in that season. So if I think back to actually the game just before the lockdown, the first lockdown kicked in, when West Ham played Liverpool at Anfield in front of all the fans, we actually played really well in that game, and we're quite unfortunate to lose the game, in my opinion. And that was the kind of resurgence or the first time we really see Thomas Souček come into play and how effective he is in a game. West Ham have been crying out for such a long time for a box-to-box midfielder, but he's more than that. He is, and people always try and make the comparison with Fellaini. Like it kind of, I feel bad for
He's miles better
that
than Fellaini.
He is miles better. I think he really is, and that's not just me saying that from a West Ham aspect. So what we're seeing from West Ham is that Moyes is bringing in pieces of the jigsaw rather than signing players to appease the fans. Moyes is bringing in players. It doesn't matter if they've got a history of running out of chances and not performing well. But he's going, do you know what? You've got something that'll add something to our squad. And that's what I'll do. When you watch West Ham, you'll see players who we signed like Fornals, who are supposed to be flair players, who actually cover so much ground. So when I think of Liverpool with your full strength squad out there, one of the first players you want on the park, out with your Rices and your Součeks, is Pablo Fornals. Because even though he's trickster, clever on the ball, he covers so much ground, tracks back, goes forward. He can have an assist, but he's defensively minded. He's small, and he was never designed like that. But what we're seeing from Moyes is the ability to change a player into something that they're potentially not, but it's the all-round game, and you're getting that from not just Pablo Fornals, but right now, you're getting that from everyone, including the likes of Craig Dawson, who was the most uninspiring signing for West Ham, but is absolutely nailing it.
Yeah, he's putting a shift in, and I mean, it's similar to obviously. Absolutely, you've basically described Jurgen Klopp, what he does with players as well, mate. I think the West Ham players are buying into the idea of what David Moyes brings to the table, really. And I think the big point from an outside point of view, mate, would be if the board do continue to back Moyes and obviously believe in his vision, because if he continues, as we said at the top of the show, his trajectory of playing away and picking up results, which is the main thing, really, mate. But going into team selection, if you had to pick your starting 11 for the game against Liverpool, mate, who would you go with?
So realistically, we as West Ham fans think that Moyes can be quite predictable in terms of his team selection. That's probably one of the only things that we thought, okay, if a player's playing well, Moyes will always keep him in the team. But he's recently started to go, depending on what team we play, is how we set up. However, recently we've started to see players like he transformed Antonio into a striker. He's starting to transform other players into players like that can do an all-round game. So I do think we'll go into the next game in a similar position like we'll set up against Crystal Palace. We'll have the back four. We'll have Fabianski in goal. We'll have the back four consisting of Soufal, Creswell, Dawson and Ogbonna, and listen, that back four has been immense this season. Absolutely solid. And Ogbonna, I've been his biggest critic for West Ham since he signed at the club. He had a very good half of the end of last season, but he is absolutely it's like he's found his prime. Like right now, he is in his prime. He is dominating any centre forward in the Premier League, no matter who you are. And the fact that he can work with a player like Dawson, who has just come in and complemented him, that's what we needed all along, was a complementing defender. So that's the back kind of 4-5. Then, of course, no ifs or buts about it, Rice and Souček. And to be honest, mate, and again, I don't want to be coming across too confident, but I think many neutral fans and fans of other clubs look at those two players and think, wow, like...
They've combined so well, haven't you, mate? I think when I watch them on Match of the Day this season, they complement each other so much, and that's what you need from a midfield partnership, innit?
Yeah, well, you've got Declan Rice. Listen, everyone knows about Declan Rice. He's just, I mean, we watch the games. I know you watch every single week. I see the highlights of Liverpool games rather than watching all of the games compared to West Ham. But the work rate that Declan Rice does, his stats per game, his pass percentage, his coverage of ground, his tackles, his interceptions. It's just so effective. But he's got a lot more freedom now because he's got Thomas Souček beside him, who does a lot of the other work. But then on top of that, Thomas Souček likes to press forward and score goals. And West Ham fans are looking at this guy going, where did you come from? But we actually call him the agent because he's the one that highlights West Ham to other players. And then we go and sign Soufal, who's our new right back, and his quality. And then apparently there's rumours that we're linked to other players from Prague as well. But yeah, so we've got Rice, Souček there. Then we'll have Fornals and Bowen and Lanzini. Sorry, not Lanzini. Rice. Sorry, Fornals, Benrahma, and Bowen, and then Antonio up top. But what those three players offer is you'll have Bowen. They kind of switch quite a lot during the game, and Fornals and Benrahma are starting to really get a nice little partnership on the goal. And what West Ham fans have been crying out for such a long time, without going on about the past, is the minute that Dimitri Payet left, we lost that flair, that excitement in the game, and he sparked up a relationship with Lanzini. But now we've got Fornals and Benrahma starting to offer that. We've got Bowen, who can cut inside with his left foot. He's so effective on his left foot. And Antonio is the man that just keeps surprising everyone. I mean, I'm still surprised at what he's doing, but it's amazing to watch what he's doing. Yeah,
it's phenomenal. Like he's probably the only fit. Is he only fit striker at the football club, Antonio, now? Or obviously Halle moved to Ajax, didn't he?
Key word you could say is fit. I mean, he's not always fit. Yeah. So, I mean, if we lose Antonio, we've been very fortunate with injuries this season. We have lost Antonio at some part. We've got Yarmolenko on the bench. We've obviously signed Lingard, who's not going to make the game for the Liverpool game because he wasn't signed in enough time. We've got a young lad who's really showing a lot of promise in the backup team. It's Odubiku. Scored another brace yesterday. Nearly should have played the FA Cup game, but he had to miss the game due to being in isolation. So he's our only fit striker, recognised striker, even though he's not a striker at the club. And that's West Ham fans' biggest concern. And that's, in my opinion, going to be one of the areas that you really need to watch for Liverpool, especially with the injuries you've got in that back department.
Yeah, most definitely, mate. He's always been a tricky customer when we've played against him. Player that gets in behind the lines. Final score prediction, mate. I know you're very busy. I won't keep you too long. Score prediction going into it if you have to pick one.
I mean, listen, Klopp, I think, I know it's been a bit of a crazy season for Liverpool in terms of injuries, coming off the fantastic season last year. No ifs or buts about it. The fact that you've come off a really good victory against Tottenham. The threat up top with your three lads up top, they're always a threat. I have to be a positive West Ham fan because it just runs in my blood to be positive. We've started to concede. We went through a while there where we didn't concede at all. I think we were on 4 or 5 games without conceding a goal, but we have won 6 out of 6 games in 2021. And I'm going to push for the 7th game in a row because I think our confidence is really starting to show on the pitch. And I'm going to go for a victory, a respectable victory, 2-1 to West Ham. I'm praying. Sorry.
It's spot on, mate. It wouldn't be right. You say we'll win to Liverpool, but it's as we said at the top of the show, mate. We just don't want it to be a ball draw. I've done so many pre-match shows, and it's like, it's a draw or something. Like the Man United game got picked up to like something on Sky and BT. It's like it's a draw. But thank you very much, mate, for coming on. I won't keep it any longer. But everyone, thank you very much for watching. Make sure you do head over to Anton and the lads' channels, Irons United. I'll leave the links in the description. Say hello and pop over anyway for their post-match shows. We'll be doing a lot of post-match shows. But Anton, keep safe and well, mate. You and the family and all the West Ham fans or the Irons. I'm just hoping it's a very good game, mate. But yeah, fingers crossed. Reds, have a lovely rest of your day and rest of your weekend. Anyway, try and enjoy the footy, and we'll see you very soon. You'll never walk alone. Cheers, Anton.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.